Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Cobra EEL. These are the Amazon exclusives. So people are starting to see them now. They're shipping. So a lot of people will be getting them this week. We were able to get these today. So I'm going to do a review on it. So they do look like they're coming in a package like this. We've seen this before with Hasbro. So hopefully you shouldn't have to worry about figures being destroyed. Now maybe it's because it's an exclusive. That's how it comes packaged. Now whether or not all the Joes will, who knows. It would be nice for the inbox collectors, especially when it comes to Walmart. But anyway, so let's take a look at this figure. And we'll take a look at them, compare them to the original EELs, and we'll also compare them to our torpedo here, because I'm pretty sure it uses the same body. They want to get some use out of this. So quickly, as we look at it here, he's on the same submarine that that torpedo is on. Here we see his weapons. Here's what he looks like. Again, he looks like he could be a ninja for that. He is number 81 in the line. And here, once again, we can see how tall the actual figure is and everything that he comes with. So rather than looking at me, let's take a look at this. Let's compare the figures and see if you have this on order, if you should keep it or not. All right, so he's out of his plastic-free prison. There's the back artwork, which, again, I think this is done right. Again, if you have to be plastic-free, G.I. Joe is doing it right, but we know that that's going away. Here's the locker that it comes with. Again, handle's too big for everything. Number 81 tells you that it's Cobra EELs, as Bobby B has mentioned numerous times. No one really knows which way it's supposed to go. I guess if it's set like this, then it's like Cobra EEL, Cobra symbol, 81 on top, but then the handle's down here. Again, doesn't make a lot of sense. Here's the bag that everything comes in, and as we can see, nothing came in cardboard. All this stuff was supposed to be encased in cardboard, so you wouldn't have issues with it being too flexible. So quickly, looking at the spear gun, I believe that's right. It is actually straight. It's sagging a little here. This one actually feels a little bit, let's make sure this actually feels stiffer than Torpedo over here. About the same, I guess, where Torpedo's was completely bent. This one is a little bit stiffer, so I don't have a problem with that. We got the flippers, which are the same flippers that came with Torpedo, except they're not painted. They're just all black, the same as the original EELs were. And they do give you a right and left. He's got a completely different helmet for his oxygen tank. He's got his little knife with a little bit of red paint on it, so you get some little paint app to it. And then you have a completely different backpack, but it does have jets here, and you can see there's ports. So it is different than the original one, and we'll take a look at that. It has the EEL symbol on the back. And then we'll take a look at our actual figure. So here's our EEL, and if we look, there's no issues with the knees. People kept pointing out that there's an issue with the knees, so quickly we'll bend it there. Whew. Little tight joint right there. Okay. You got your ankle rockers. You got your boot cut. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Thigh swivels. Again, right out of the box. Your drop down hips too. Your ab crunch. Twist back and forth, up, down. This tends to sit a little bit high. I thought that was just an issue with the way that it was looking, but this whole uniform kind of just sits up high. Let's see here. So this shoulder went up all the way easily. This one needs a little bit of force. I think after you warm it up a little bit, won't be all that bad. double pinless elbows. He can look up, down, and again, his neck turns along with his head, so he does get a little bit more of a range of motion. So quickly, since I have him just the base body, let's grab our torpedo, pop this off here, and take a look at it. So as looking at it here, we can tell the body is the exact same. Shoulders are different because they put these little caps on it. This arm here, so this arm is molded on, this piece is molded onto the forearm, where on torpedo, it is not molded on, it moves. So the forearms are different, along with just how all this looks here. So it looks like the biceps are probably the same. Looking at the legs, feet all look the exact same. Waist is different because it has to look like the Cobra EEL. So they're going to get a lot of reuse out of this. I'm sure when we start getting the other figures, we're going to see the same thing. On the backpack here, it looks like this piece here, the gray piece here, is the same as the black, and then they put a different overlay on it. So again, getting more reuse out of that. Now, can I throw on torpedo stuff? You can throw on torpedoes mask just like that. And now you can have a different masked EEL if you want. Alright. So he's got his knife here. Throw it in the sheath. The helmet, which is such a nice looking helmet, but man, it is a tight fit. It is pushing right down on the head. So, right down on the nose. So you got to make sure you're missing. So when I went to go put this on here, all right, it was actually pushing down on the nose there. So you kind of got to squeeze it so it forces it out. So this one goes on a little bit harder than the others. Well, not a little bit, way harder than torpedoes. Now, you can see the eyes through the mask, which I think looks pretty nice there. Just quickly looking at it. This is moved out, so gonna have to adjust that there. Boom. These two pieces pop onto the side, the same as torpedoes. Actually, looking, oh, okay, you know what? I see what they did. All right, so quickly, the backpack is the exact same. What is different is these jet packs. That's what everyone kept wondering what that was supposed to hold. It holds this piece on. I wonder if that comes off. I'm not going to force it off, but that's what that is for. That holds this piece on. So the backpack is the exact same. Let me throw on his flippers. Did I put them on the right feet? That's your right. And again, it's holding the bottom. So if you do need to use pegs, which I don't know why you would need pegs with something like this. I guess unless it's maybe on some sort of water vehicle. And then he comes with, again, the exact same spear gun that torpedo does. He does not come with any submachine gun or any other type of rifle, which is too bad. I think they all should. So now let's compare them. And quickly what we'll look at is the two spear guns. Now, as stupid as the spear gun is, the EEL had a very distinct one. It was something very special. I wish they would have reused it here. Again, they didn't. This is what we got with the original. And this is how the new one looks. It does have it. So you can hold it onto his arm while he's carrying one of his rifles, one of the rifles you're going to use. A little bit of paint app on both sides. And again, it is very flexible. But this one is straight, so I'm not going to complain about it. Quickly to take a look at his backpack. Now, it does have the jets. So they put the jets on it. That was a very distinct look to it. But again, as you can see, the jetpack is completely different. This one has a lot more character than this one, although they did give you the design. But I like the red. It really pops, especially with the front face of it. So looking at the helmets, they do a really good job of mimicking the helmet. You have the antenna that's right up there. They painted this black one. They painted it black along with the top with the with the flashlight, which I like. This one doesn't, I never realized that was a light. So I like that you can see his eyes through it here, where obviously here we just see his eyes. So I think that looks really nice on him. Looking at the face, you get the silver Cobra symbol with the nice red. You have his gauge so he can tell how much oxygen he has left. This one here, it looks like maybe it had one. It's hard to remember. But I would say it had something on there. It's been so long. I do have another Cobra EEL. I guess I could have grabbed. I'm not sure. But he's supposed to at least have it. So that's the reason why he has the gauge here, which is nice. And if you look at it, it looks like you can see something on it. All right. Around the waist, they do a really good job of recreating the exact same belt that he's wearing. Little pouches right there. The way this actually sets up. So it covers the black there. And then he has his little shark knife on the side. And then again, the flippers were just black, so they just left them black. All in all, a nice, faithful design of the EEL. Now, if we pop his mask off here, you can easily have him swap the heads, and now you can have a bunch of Joe figures that just have a full mask on. And as you can tell, it looks like he is a darker skin. So it looks like this is a black figure, which is actually pretty cool. They've done a really good job of mixing different races and different colors into the troopers' lines now. All right, so let's throw this on him. And again, there's really not too much more to show. He is, I don't want to say essentially torpedo, but very much the torpedo body. Even the overlay on the top here, you can see the little red dot. They did such a good job of recreating this figure, but using really nice aesthetics. Again, make sure you kind of squeeze the helmet when you push that on there. But the fact that you can see the eyes, that they plug right in here, so. All right. So there you go. Now let's do some pictures. Or, well, let's actually wrap it up. All right, so my final thoughts on the EEL is I think it is a wonderful looking figure. He feels really solid. We went through a bad patch of the G.I. Joe figures, not feeling so good. This one feels really good, the same as Torpedo. Obviously used a lot of the same buck. I am disappointed that they didn't give him the spear gun that is more similar. I mean, if you're going to do a recreation of it, give him something like what the original EO had, because it's very unique. And I am disappointed that they didn't give him the just some sort of submachine gun. There's so many. They could have reused one, maybe one that came with the Alley Viper. But other than that, I can't complain too much. You may now have C figures to go up against Torpedo and Shipwreck and to complement Copperhead. So anyway, that's your last look at this figure. Alright, so that's my final look at the EEL. I do like the figure. I'm glad that the Sea Troops are now growing, whether it be G.I. Joe or Cobra. You're going to have a wonderful, wonderful allotment of figures to use for dioramas, for photography, or just to put on your shelves to look at. But anyway, I am going to get out of here. But before I do, take a second, jump on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, A Punk with Toys, the Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. And last but not least, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified any time that I do a G.I. Joe video. And God knows there's a lot that are about to hit us. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. But you know what? Before I leave, take a look at this torpedo video. Here's my classified video. And here's the list of all the channel members, in case you're wondering who they were.